Hi everyone, and welcome to week 10. I'm actually in my son's room right now because we're sharing space, he's watching TV and I'm trying to work. Okay, so week 10. This week we're going to continue with biological anthropology, and last week we talked about primates in general and looked at some of the primate trends. And this week we're going to look at a special group of primates called the hominins. And what hominins have in common is that they're all bipedal. And if you look around, you'll notice that there's only one bipedal primate left standing, so to speak, and that's us. So when we talk about hominins, we're largely talking about fossil species. And of course, anthropologists are interested in these species because of that bipedal link, right? Which is very unusual for any species. And so they're interested in them for obvious reasons, because there's a link between us and our primate ancestors. And you probably already know of one species of hominin, and that is the Neanderthals, or Neanderthals. Both terms are equally valid. But there are many, many other species of hominins. There's so many that we can't possibly talk about all of them this week. And there's some that I feel really bad for not introducing you to, but I don't want to overload you. So we will focus on three main species of hominin: the Neanderthals, and secondly Homo erectus, and then finally Australopithecines. In that order. So Neanderthals are the most recent, Homo erectus second most recent, and the Australopithecines are the earliest. And if you start with Australopithecines around 3 or 4 million years ago, you will see that they are bipedal and they're primates, but that's where the resemblance to humans ends. So they're fairly small brain. They've got a brain the size of a chimp, and from the neck down, they're not that much like us apart from being bipedal. So there are some things that are similar: the shape of the pelvis, the shape of the femurs, the things that are related to bipedalism. As you fast forward in time to 1 million or around 2 million years ago, you come to a species called Homo erectus. These guys are very human-like from the neck down. They're practically indistinguishable, maybe a bit more robust. From the neck up, they are much larger brained than Australopithecines, but smaller brained than humans. And it's interesting that with this larger brain comes the probable use of fire, as well as fairly sophisticated tools, and we're talking stone tools. And then fast forward, maybe to 500,000 years ago, 400,000 years ago, you get to a species called the Neanderthals. These guys are humans. They're classified as Homo sapiens neanderthalans, so a subspecies of humans, whereas we, of course, are Homo sapiens sapiens. Neanderthals are a lot like us in many ways, especially from the neck down. But they're more robust, barrel-shaped, very muscular. From the neck up, they had a really large brain, on average larger brains than modern humans, but it looks like the shape of the brain is different than humans. It was probably organized a bit differently. Okay, so as you go back in time, you get smaller brains, and you get less and less sophisticated tool use, until you get to Neanderthals, who had fire, they had sophisticated tools. They were hunting, a lot of things that are similar to humans. And they also buried their dead. Okay, so those are the big three that we're going to talk about. And like I said, you have to keep in mind that there's many more out there. And you'll get a chance in the discussion board to kind of research one of these other hominins that we don't really have time to go in depth with. Yeah. So those are the hominins. The other thing is that we're talk about a little bit about genetics. We talked about human variation and did just like baseline introduction to genetics. Well, that's going to come back because we have the full Neanderthal genome. And it turns out Neanderthals have 100% the same genes as humans. But they have different SNPs, right? Some of the letters are a bit different than what is normally found in modern human populations. And we can compare and contrast those SNPs and what they do compared to the SNPs that humans have, and hopefully gain some insight into how we became who we are. Just one more thing about Neanderthals. I mentioned they had very large brains, larger on average than modern humans. And it doesn't necessarily mean that Neanderthals were smarter or, we are now stupid. Remember back to week 2 when we talked about different types of intelligences. This is probably true for Neanderthals and totally modern humans as well. Okay, so hope you enjoyed the light show. Again, if you have questions this week, please let me know, because the material is a little bit different, a little bit more complex. Let me know. Have a great week. Hang in there and happy learning. Bye now.